Afternoon, folks. You're very welcome to Port Harrington Golf Club here. We're joined today by our head greenkeeper, Paul Sheerin. Paul and his team have been here. Paul has been here for 20 odd years at this stage, I think, Paul.
Just shy of it, yeah, 18.
And the lads, over the course of the last number of years, have done incredible work around the place to know what it has become today. Paul, just on your own end of it, you've been here a long number of years. Just tell us a little bit maybe about yourself, how you got into greenkeeping, etc.
Yeah, Colin, thanks. I'm from the Heath. I started out greenkeeping because I suppose my proximity to the Heath golf course, living right beside it, I started out doing a bit of summer work in it in school and that kind of thing, and I kind of got a liking for it straight away. At an early stage, I decided I was going to go and study turf grass and greenkeeping. I was very interested in it. I've always been interested in growing all sorts of plants and things, so it was kind of a natural progression, really. From the Heath, I went to college. I went to Termafeckin on Greenon, and I worked there. On that college was based beside Baltray and Sea Point Golf Club, two side by side. So we would have worked there on our work experience through college, and we studied as well. So I done 2 years there, and from there I went to Gleneagles in Scotland, and I spent almost a year there, 11 months in Gleneagles, and that was a super experience. It really showed the top end of things, you know.
Yeah, I'd say Gleneagles is probably, as courses go, like I think every golfer has heard of Gleneagles, really. I mean, to be able to spend a year there and see how they work a huge golf course and a huge operation must have been fantastic.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we got everything. Gleneagles has 3 18-hole golf courses on it, and I worked across the 3 of them in the year. Like they kind of have 3 levels. They have if you see Gleneagles on the television, you'll see the PGA course where the Ryder Cup was held. Back from that, you have the King's course and the Queen's course, and they're kind of their allowance for each level of golfer in each course, but yet they're all maintained to the same high spec. So it was a very good view of across the board golf and how you have to allow for the 20 handicapper the same as the pro, you know, and maintain a golf course across for the 3 of them. So that was a big education. From there, I came back to the Heritage when it was being built then. In 2001, 2002, early 2002. It was only in construction stage at the time. And then the job came up here and I applied and I moved down the road. The rest is history.
I mean, from you've been here 20 years now, so we're looking at probably 2001, say 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
From 2003 to now, have you seen much of a difference in the golf course between then and now?
I suppose over the years, with different committees and different ideas, things moved one way and moved back another way a little bit. Now, all the time, I would say the standard of the course, we have been rising it all the time. I mean, from simple things earlier on, like getting bunkers cleaned up and, you know, better standard of maintenance, not saying anything against the previous standard, but we try to rise it all the time. And but we kind of moved to a point where, again, it nearly comes back to what I'm saying in Gleneagles, a certain group of golfers want a certain tightness of fairways and this, and then it maybe moves back to, well, no, we need more room on fairways, you know, so again, it's back to catering for all levels of golfer and try to hit a happy medium for everyone. So that, and then the few jobs we've taken on, the likes of the 7th green here behind us that we took on to, it kind of was a thorn in my side for the last 20 years. And I was glad to get the opportunity to do something with it. Now, we didn't do an overly expensive job with it or anything, but it serves the purpose. I think it has brought it in line with the rest of the course, whereas it was a drawback all the time.
Yeah. I mean, from our own experience here, from ourselves playing it as golfers, like we come out, and I think the way things are gone at the moment, everyone expects a certain standard of golf course for what they're playing, you know. But just as regards even the 7th green here, so say probably in the last year and a half that's been done. How, like yourself, you took on the challenge yourselves here on the Greens committee and the greenskeeping staff. How many man hours roughly would it take to do something like that, and just the works involved in it?
I suppose the initial works, even though they look the biggest part of it, were probably the simple part of it. We moved in here with a digger. We removed a few trees here for a bit of light. Nothing too major. I think 4 trees went off of this side, and we just let in a bit of light. And then it was earth movement with a digger, and we brought in a drainage layer and drew down chippings and reinstated the root zone and seeded. That process took us, we were very lucky actually, we got very good weather to do it at the time. It took us around 10 days or so, and we got it seeded and away. Maybe a little later than I would have liked to in the season when we done it. At that time of year, 2 weeks makes a huge difference. But we got it in and got it in place. But the man hours after that were substantial, even though it probably wouldn't have been viewed. I mean, we hand top dressed that green all that winter, once a week, wheelbarrowed the sand in, dressed it with shovels. You know, none of that work would have been seen. You know, it might have only been a 2-hour job some morning when no one was around, but it was done, and it continues to be done.
Yeah, if you add that up over the course of a year, like, it's a huge amount of work. And I think that's kind of the object of maybe chatting to yourself here today, to see what is actually done and how long it takes. And we as members, and I think golfers in general, just like this, it magically appears, and there's little or no work gone into it. But I mean, something like that takes a huge amount of work. And I think we even see it here, like the 7 green, we're here beside the 8 tee box, and I know the 8 tee boxes have been done. And again, you might just have a little, might just tell us maybe what was involved in that. I think there's a couple of tee boxes that have been done the last while.
Yeah, last autumn we done the ladies 14, the main 14, the men's 14, and the 8 here. Our tee boxes are probably gone a little bit on level in general due to kind of a lack of maintenance and tee boxes. Tee boxes, in the early days when I started here, we would have levelled 2-3 tee boxes every winter, but budget constraints and staff constraints and things stopped that from happening in the last 10 years. Yeah. And now we have a problem where we have kind of a big number of the tee boxes gone very on level on us. So we took on those 3 tee boxes last autumn. Now the 8 was taken on for 2 reasons on levelness, but we felt it was completely out of line. The blue tee on the 8, it didn't work. There was no real shot around the corner for anyone. So again, we removed 3 trees off of this side, and we moved it straight rather than it was nearly around in a circle, the tee box. So that was the big object of the 8, was to straighten it. But obviously we levelled and we reseeded. They're coming along nicely now. They've been getting, again, we're hand top dressing them over the winter. They've been getting sand anywhere we can. Weather hasn't been nice this winter at all. But we got the first mows on them in the last 2 weeks there, and they were mowed again today. They're coming nice. We might be back on them as soon as golf is open, but certainly within a couple of weeks of golf opening, we'll be back playing those tee boxes. Yeah.
Yeah, even see it here coming down here today. Now we're at the back of the 7th. I'm sure all the members will be familiar where we are. Even coming down the buggy path here today, just for a spin down to where we are. I mean, all that work has been done there, and I think behind the scenes, yourself and the staff are kind of the unsung heroes, because as I said earlier on, like, we expect everything to be just as so when we come out. But this, I would always say, and I think the members would agree, is the backbone of the golf club, the greenkeeping staff. And to do all that work is for ourselves without having to bring anyone in from the outside. I think it's fantastic to have that knowledge and have everyone there. Just as regards, say, a major competition, so if we were coming into Open Week this week, or with a bit of luck, or next year maybe, what would be involved in getting the course prepared for Open Week? I mean, just on a kind of a daily basis, a run through, so that people have an idea of what actually goes on.
Well, I suppose preparation for the majors of the year in the club, it starts now, really. I suppose there might be an image that we're busy the week before Open Week to get ready for Open Week. We're getting ready for the golf season now, and preparation goes from now till then. I try build to a level as corn as I'm let with weather. I mean, we're dictated by Mother Nature in this job. So as soon as growth kicks in, we can kick in, and we can up the standard of greens, and we can up the standard of tee boxes and fairways and things, as long as growth allows us. So preparation will start at the start of the season. And when you come to a major, you're really only tweaking little things, you know, the final cleanups and things. It's not this major burst you might think the burst happens from the start of the year, from spring, and we bring it on. But as regards the daily preparation for, we'll say, Open Week, which is a 10-day event, and we're lucky here, we get loads of golfers here in Open Week, and it's busy, and we try to get out of the way as soon as we can once we've work done. But I mean, every morning in Open Week, greens are cut and rolled, tee boxes are cut 4 times that week, surrounds are cut, fairways are cut. Fairways will be cut 3 times, surrounds will be cut 3 times, rough will be cut twice, bunkers will be raked. I mean, it's
a huge amount of work.
it's a mountain of work, and it just takes rhythm and get ahead of the golf and know where we need to be next. And I'm so used to it now. It just flows, and the guys with me, like, I mean, Niall, Matchy, Dan's here the last couple of years, Ger, everyone knows what they have to do on any given morning. So it's no big complication. We know where we are, we know what we have to do, and we just come and do it, and it's part of our job. And
even the guys you're after saying there, I know, like, it's testament to the kind of yourselves and the club and committees, etc., that the boys have been here quite a long time now. I mean, probably between the whole lot of you, you've 50 plus years experience, and maybe more.
Well, Niall Fitzpatrick comes here nearly like the Swallows every summer, and has been since, I think Niall's here since 1986. You know, I mean, and just comes and does his work and goes, and there's never a problem. He's underappreciated, I mean, really, because he's so convenient to the club. And so Dan, the last few seasons, has come in and done the seasonal work. And, you know, it's great to get a guy back, because it shows he's interested, and, you know, it makes life so much easier, you know.
It's a great mix of people.
And the constant then, Matchy and Ger and myself, like, you know, here, we just get on with it day to day, and we're able to do what we do because we're able to get on so well, you know.
Fantastic. Just as regards, say, the golf course itself, if we had our budgets, I mean, obviously we're constrained with budgets. It's as the same as every golf course has been for the last number of years. If money was no object and we had no budgets, what would you improve? What would you put in? What would you take out?
Well, I suppose you'd love to have an endless supply of money. It's not that easy for anyone to have it, but we do have a number of issues that you know, need to be addressed over the coming years on the course. I'd like to see a few more of the greens that are troublesome dealt with the same as the 7th or better, you know. Maybe a bit more money put towards them, that we could go maybe sand-based and do, you know, a higher class job on them. The 6th being one, the 11th being another. I suppose the redevelopment of the 5th down there into the parcel of land that we bought, I'd love to see that happening. Again, it wouldn't be a majorly expensive project if we made a plan and kind of took it that, right, well, maybe we'll start clearing some timber and doing a small bit of groundwork ourselves over a few winters, and, you know, things like that can be done. But as regards an endless budget, I suppose sand and drainage is a huge thing. I think going forward with the way winters are, in my opinion, going anyway, we've got much milder, much wetter. So we really need to concentrate on getting a course that's more playable. I mean, we're a small bit hampered by the river, but it's not actually the major problem. When you have high traffic in winter time across the golf course, you need underfoot to be good. Like, it's not necessarily a flooding issue or anything like that. It's not. It's a general day to day that it's really like the carpet in your sitting room. It has to be kept sort of clean, and sand and drainage is the answer to that. And I think going forward, we're going to really have to look at that, because winter golf is going to get harder and harder to play if what we're told is going to happen will happen with climate change, you know. And I really do think it will, like.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, just as regards, I mean, just if for myself who would actually be interested in something like that, you were saying maybe the redevelopment of the 5th down there, or maybe a little bit of change on it. What would you do there if we know we have that parcel of land maybe in the forestry there that was purchased a number of years ago? If we had that, if we were to decide over a course of winters that you were going to do the groundworks on it, what would you do to it, or what way would that work?
It's not a huge parcel of land, and it's a little bit strangely shaped. So your options are slightly limited. You really only have the option of going in with the par 3 kind of directly either off of the back of the 4th green, or possibly from halfway down the 5th par 3, if you like, straight in to a green, a par 3. Now, the ground is lowish in there in Pines. Possibly I'd like to bring some water into it to kind of take out that low dip. You know, maybe a big green fronted by a lake on a par 3. I think it would be a nice feature, and there should then still be room to come back out with the 6th as possibly a par 5, or even a really good par 4, and maybe if we were redeveloping the 6th green at some stage, just pull it forward away from the 9th tee box a little bit, you know, and bring it more towards the 7th tee box, that it's more flowing. You know, a golf course should kind of flow. You shouldn't be going past something to come back to it, and you know.
I think we're tight here as regards to some of the holes from 9 to 10, 10 hitting across 18, 13 hitting across 18, 18 tee box. You have to wait for the 12th. The 9th you're waiting for 6.
Yes.
You know, there's trouble like that.
So the more than we could take out, the better. And I think we could take out the 5th very simply down in that corner, and we could possibly improve the 6th. I mean, a golfer walking back from the 6th green to the 7th tee is a delay as well.
Sure.
You know, it's not one of the most obvious ones here, as you say, but it is a delay, like, you know.
Well, Paul, that's a great insight into kind of what has been done and what you will kind of maybe look forward to over the course of the next 20 years. And with that, look, thanks very much for talking to us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks very much.